is Rhonda Rubenstein. I lead the operations and enablement team in Point Next at Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. And it's a pleasure to be here today. I was asked just to make a couple quick comments around my views of leadership. And so when I think about leadership, obviously I think about what Antonio and the leadership team has been talking about at the all team member meetings. But we'll put that aside because obviously you've heard that as well and can listen in replay if you'd like a little bit of a refresher. So for me, I'd like to talk more specifically to operations and enablement because the organization is so critical. As we talked about recently at our all team member meeting, the work that we do directly ties to all of the critical measures and strategies of Point Next and of Hewlett-Packard Enterprise overall. So it's important that we continue to be high performing. And to do that, we need leadership at all levels, right? This isn't just about senior leaders or even managers, right? This is around how you lead virtual teams, how you conduct and lead yourself, and how you relate to your peers and your stakeholders and your customers and those, above you, next to you, below you, etc., right? And for me, leadership really kind of boils down to operating with integrity. That's the key for me. That's what I want my kind of brand of leadership to mean, which is that I'm true to my word. I try my best. I say what I mean. I'm committed to following through on my commitments, and I treat people fairly. And I treat all people fairly, regardless of level, etc., right? And so for me, when I have to boil it down, I'd say I boiled leadership down to really operating with integrity as I drive for critical outcomes for myself, for my team, for the company at large.
I'm Robin. I've served HPE for 24 years so far. I'm not a CEO, not a senior VP. I am a people leader, and I believe in leadership from any role at any level. And here's why. I believe leading is bringing out the best in others around us so we can achieve higher outcomes together than any of us could alone. And I've served in a lot of roles so far, everything from program manager to project manager, operations lead, strategic business planner, process analyst, trainer, even front-end call coordinator. That was my first role. And looking back, I can see that every one of those roles had opportunities to do what I just said when I noticed them and took advantage of them. So this series is about helping you and me do that, to find the leader inside us, to raise up our best self and help others around us become their best so we can all achieve higher outcomes together.
In principle, leading is easy. Go somewhere worth going and bring others with you. Simple maybe, but not easy. It's really a journey of learning how to bring out the best in others by committing to pursue excellence with our talents and skills, to operate and relate with high integrity, to embrace courage, to push ourselves for better, and to think we over I so we can bring out our own best and draw out the best of others in pursuit of outcomes that benefit humanity in some way. This kind of journey has no end, but it can start any day from any role by choosing to be one who will bring out the best in many. I know not everyone leads this way, but many do. Think about someone you admire or who influenced you in some positive way. That person is on this journey. Let's you and I join them and take it too.
We're going to jam-pack every one of 6 30-minute sessions with a ton of leadership principles and tools that are going to help you and me bring out our best leader to the benefit of everybody around us. And we're going to have a good time while we do it, so I hope you don't mind that.
Today we are setting foundations for what's to come. If we watch enough media, we may get the idea that people could accomplish so much more together if only the leaders would stop leading. Here's the truth. Leadership consistently appears high in the list of most sought skills across professional industries, and that's at all levels too, CEO to early career. Leadership done with the right motives and skills plays a huge role in positioning organizations for success. You and I have a role in leadership. A leader is anyone who is willing to do things like take personal initiative, step forward when needs or opportunities present themselves, stay curious about motivation and what could be if we all reach up for it, engage others, embrace perspectives, and collaborate to win, and do those things with high ethics. That means at this company, every person in every role has the potential to be a leader.
Here's an example you may have experienced. When you were in school and say a teacher broke a class into different groups to accomplish something, did you notice that after a short while of the group forming together, someone stepped forward and started offering suggestions on how the group might tackle the project, or break out assignments, or maybe when the group would meet? Or maybe later on, when the work started to get hard and the pressure was on, someone stepped forward to encourage everybody by casting a vision of what the end project might look like if we all stay the course and keep working hard together. Maybe even somebody got sharp with each other, some conflict grew up. It happens. Maybe you or someone else was like that third bird looking at these two squawkers and thinking, that's not good, I've got to help out. So you stepped in to arbitrate a positive solution so the group can keep going. The first and best way that every member of the group was leading was just by owning their own piece of the work, because they know everyone else is counting on that. Whomever did any of those things was leading. And here's something else. It may have not even been the same person each time. That can happen dynamically, and no one needs a title to do it. That illustration is based on a college memory of mine that's not too recent. But HPE has a leadership model right now that aligns to everything I just said. Let's check it out with my colleague, Julie Brochard.
Thanks, Rob. Hi, I'm Julie Brochard, and I lead communications for operations and enablement. So this triangle is from the HPE Elements of Leadership. The picture shows that leadership starts with leading ourselves. That means building practices of personal discipline and then adding work skills to that. From there, we can move into leading others toward joint outcomes, informally, and then if we choose, formally. What sort of person does that? Someone who has a leader mindset does that. Leader mindset is an industry term. There are entire books and classes on it. The key messages are these. A leader takes ownership of personal work with care that is done with excellence because they know that others are counting on that. A leader initiates higher outcomes from any position. A leader stays curious, never settling for good enough now. A leader views problems as opportunities. Leaders expect problems and they solve problems. In fact, a leader believes problems and challenges provide growth opportunities. A leader collaborates toward joint solutions. A leader knows that they don't have all the best answers and that including different perspectives and aligning efforts bring better solutions. Leaders help create clarity amid a flurry of complex activity. They help to keep eyes up and focused on worthy outcomes, and they fix their eyes on the work that will best accomplish those outcomes. Here's a common work example. Let's say a new tool is coming out for managing customer data, and that's probably a familiar idea around here. And let's say it's replacing an older tool that's no longer meeting business needs, but is really comfortable for a lot of us. We know it inside and out. We've learned our workarounds, how to make it work for us. When it's announced that this change is coming, who are the individuals embracing courage over comfort?
This sounds super amazing. I'm up for it.
Can I be part of this? I'm in. I love learning new stuff.
I want to help make this great. Let's get started.
And who was moving into protection mode?
We've tried that before. This'll never work.
The first ones are the leaders. That doesn't mean they're ignorant or they don't have personal discomfort. It means they trust their upward leaders, are willing to commit and go in this new direction, and want to do their part.
Leading starts with leading me can sound like just something to say, but it isn't. Rhonda mentioned the word integrity earlier and also spoke about building a personal brand of integrity. It's a powerful word that means honest and upright, and also whole and undivided. Our company, like any entity made of people relationships, work teams, sports teams, families, or whatever other, relies on each member owning their spot and moving forward toward team goals, and along the way, relating respectfully and fairly and so on as a trust. It doesn't take many not doing that before any kind of team loses its integrity and can't stand up. But here's the thing, some days are hard, pressures come fast, and doing things the right way is not always the easiest way. There are people around you and me who need a nearby example of what doing right work the right way, even under pressure, looks like to help them stay motivated and on course. So when you and I step into a leader mindset, own our own roles, support and drive initiatives in one direction, and do all that the right way, people around us are going to see that. Some will be inspired, others encouraged, some even challenged by what they see in us. Then we can add on the other things that we'll talk about today. Secret career tip. Team members who display a leader mindset tend to get positively noticed. It's not just time in a role that matters, it's what you and I do with our time in it.
And now the big question. What do leaders do to do what we just talked about? A good starting place is 2 words. This isn't one of them. Influence and enable.
In simple terms, influencing means getting others to want to do stuff. We might call this inspiring, motivating, or guiding. Enabling is equipping and empowering to do something we are asking a person or group to do. Equipping is providing the inputs, staffing, skills, equipment, structure. Empowering is granting authority and support.
These 2 words would make great sticky notes to place on our monitors and remind us that we have 2 powerful levers we can use every day to elevate our environments and look for opportunities to use them.
Now, let's extrapolate some very tangible forms of influencing and enabling and then target those as our potential leader actions. We could also call these investment actions. These are how we invest into others around us to bring out everyone's best toward joint higher outcomes. A leader can invest 3 forms of influencing and enabling actions: navigating and guidance investments, side-by-side investments, and interpersonal respect investments. Before we start into this, let me add a leader mindset challenge. Are we up for that? There are 2 ways to look at responsibilities: the low road or the high road. I challenge us up front to take the high road by disciplining ourselves not to do a very natural thing: filtering. Filtering happens when we are excited about obtaining something, a certain job, a home, a person to agree to marry us, or whatever it is, so we read our responsibilities for that in such a way that we subconsciously leave out parts that would be hard for us, or that we just don't like. When we do that, our part looks easy, and down the road this creates obvious problems. Someone else was expecting more out of us than we were expecting. If you and I want to lead from whatever our role, that is a high calling. Here we go. Navigating and guiding. Or we might call this inspiring a worthwhile course and keeping the wheel straight. Here we are out in front, going somewhere worth going and guiding to help others reach that destination. Navigating and guiding actions might look like modeling standards. A navigator takes the trip. We can explain where we're going and show the way by living what it looks like. Communicating core values. Life has lots of challenges that come our way, so wise entities think through who they are in terms of values. When we do what we do, we always do it this way. These are considered non-negotiables. That keeps the integrity of the entity. It also tends to shape the vision and the mission and everything we do, because once we know what we were about, then we'll get a clearer direction of what we can do to make good things happen in the world. It's not a bad idea to sit down as an individual and think that through. What are my values? What do I want to make sure represents me in everything I do? We've all read stories about a person or group that wanted something so badly they lost sight of who they were and they compromised themselves to get it. So even when they did obtain whatever it was empty to them because they lost themselves on the trip. Our company has a set of values. One of the most powerful things we can do as leaders is speaking them often and living them. Communicating a vision. This is painting a tangible mental picture of a future that we could accomplish if everyone reaches up for it and works hard. At the executive level, it would be a high vision cast for the company. At support levels, we can take that vision and recast it in a way that helps our teams and peers see their place of importance in it. It helps give everyone's work meaning, and of course, it helps shape what work we should and shouldn't be doing because we only want to be doing the work that supports the vision. This idea brings us to navigating a winning course. This is the mission plan of how you will achieve your vision. It also includes the strategies that make up the ways you will execute the mission to achieve the vision. To make each strategy tangible, we have the next item, goals and objectives. Goals are statements of what needs to be accomplished to implement a strategy, and objectives are actions and timelines for achieving the goals. You can have big picture goals and smaller goals that can be achieved along the way or that support the big ones. These act like milestones on a trip, and there's two good reasons to have them. One, they keep us motivated, and two, they give us a chance to see problems before the end so we can correct them. Think of hiking on a trail. On many trails, there are blazes that help you know, yes, I'm supposed to be on the green trail, I'm still on the green trail. Or, oops, somehow we ended up on the yellow trail, we need to get back to the green trail. And then there are mile markers to tell you how far you're going to keep you motivated. Oh wow, we've gone 5 miles, just 1 to go. And oftentimes, along with those, are little arrows that will tell you what your options are if you need to make a change and go on a different trail. Early in a trip, small deviations make a big difference. By the time we reach almost the end of the journey, it's too late. We'd have to make some radical move, almost like teleport over to the right path, and sometimes we just can't. So that's why we have milestones along the way. Bonus thought on goals. How many should I have? Well, the rule of thumb is not too many. Maybe 3 to 5 for whatever your strategy is. At a company level, at an organization level, at a personal level even. 3 to 5 that align upward is a good starting place. And then just consider anyone you add to that very expensive in terms of accomplishment real estate. How much can I accomplish at once? There's a couple reasons for that. Each of those can be tied to an implementation of the strategy so that you know you're carrying the strategy out, and it's also manageable. You can make progress on them. 3 to 5 tangible goals that are aligned to 3 to 5 implementations for a strategy. Sometimes the reason we have more, just to challenge us here, is because we haven't done the work to refine it down to what 3 to 5 things will move us further downfield. These first 4 items, core values, vision, mission, goals, make up the starting point of strategic business planning. After this comes provisioning, getting the people, equipment, and framework needed to do what is being asked. This involves things like staffing, finding good people who have the skills and aptitudes that fit the needs, developing them with skill enhancement opportunities, equipping with good tools, and also building and maintaining a clear team structure, clear roles, and a clear process framework that helps everyone work effectively. Who does what and when? How do we engage one another? This framework is important because it gives each person a place of value and helps the team know how to work together. Point of note, providing structure can also be a powerful form of managing ambiguity through change. A growing organization can't promise no change. In all of life, what you and I call now is never really permanent. It's a point of tension between the need for stability and the need to respond to changes in time and circumstance for survival. One of the best ways, then, we can help others navigate change is to provide structure and clarity amid the change. Other things we could do are validate the change by tying it to our core values, our vision, and our mission. So people know we're not just changing to change, we're changing to stay on course. Something else we can do is convey a hopeful future that helps others around us envision themselves succeeding after the change. That's probably what the people around us are most concerned about. So just to put those together, structure, validating, and conveying a hopeful future are great ways to help manage people through a change. Finally, inspiring leader mindsets across an organization or a team. Julie talked about mindset earlier. Imagine how far we could go together if everyone around you and me did everything she talked about. Well, you and I help them do that, foremost by doing it ourselves. On the whole, provisioning creates opportunities and people who will take those opportunities. After provisioning comes assessing, planning, and prioritizing work toward high impact. aligning efforts toward the vision and strategy so we can get good traction and achieve compound outcomes. And once at a time when I was leading a project that was getting great results for my clients, and I'd been investing in it for a long time. At some point, my people leader asked me to release the project, and I had a really hard time because I was so personally invested into it, and the clients who I was serving, they really were invested into it. But here's the thing, our company had changed to stay on course with the vision, and this no longer aligned with that. I needed to have the courage to let that go, even though I felt it was important, so that I would be available to work on things that were aligned with the direction we were heading now. That was hard for me, and it took longer for me to let go than it should have. It's made a big impact on how I operate and lead. I always want to see where our company is going, what I'm doing, and what my team is doing, and align us in that direction. And that means sometimes a conversation where I say to someone, you are valuable. You've been doing great work on this project. I'm asking you to trust me. I'm going to put you into a different area because I want to make sure your talents and skills are always aligned to the big picture the way you want to affirm their value, but give some courage to trust me and move in this direction.
Don't you think we should recalculate?
No, we're making great time. We're almost home.
But we moved yesterday.
Upholding accountability. Leaders are those who set clear expectations and then hold themselves plus every other team member to do what they said they would do so the team can win. Course correcting and preserving momentum. This is evaluating progress, solving problems, motivating forward movement, and keeping all eyes on the end goals, especially when the work gets hard, progress gets slow, or it's just hard to see in the complexity of the day-to-day. If we worked with our hands, like say on wood projects, it'd be pretty easy to see when we're doing something really valuable and to see how we're doing, because before our eyes, something like this turns into something like this. You like it, right? But nowadays, a lot of us work in really complex environments, and it feels like our work is a little piece of a giant puzzle, and sometimes it even feels like the pieces are turned upside down. A leader can help peers see their place in the picture so they know they're doing something valuable. Finally, celebrating accomplishments and sharing outcomes. A pause and thank you goes a long way to appreciate tired spirits after a long journey. It also rekindles energy and enthusiasm for the next journey. We tend to get really busy and our projects tend to kind of fade together one into the next as we're finishing one, another one is starting up. It's hard to take this time to celebrate. It's important that we find a way to do it. It doesn't have to be over the top, just a pause to say thank you in some meaningful way. Altogether, these navigating and guiding actions are fundamental ways that a leader invests, like a farmer, to produce high outcomes. A second type of leader action is side-by-side support. Here, we are stepping into the work, getting beside our direct circle of peers and team members at whatever level we are, in a way that personally enables them to traverse challenges and grow. Before we showed the way, now we're doing it beside them. Sometimes that's helping with an unexpected problem. Examples include modeling the standards close up. This is raising standards by living them alongside those we interact with, like going first in whatever the mission. The power comes from saying, "Come with me," instead of "Go do that." It's just more inspiring. People right around us are going to observe us whether we choose to be a model or not. Every day, someone is looking at how we handle something and thinking, should I do it that way? We may as well get purposeful about it. Number 2, close by support or proximity support. This is about being present with those in our immediate circles so we can offer help. Things like making connections to experts or leaders who we know who someone else doesn't know. Removing barriers or impediments that someone else may not know how to remove. Breakthrough insights could include backing someone. Maybe someone we see is supporting 2 programs at once and being asked to attend 2 meetings on the same day and same time. Been there. Sometimes the person can work that out. Other times we might need to step in and help out. That's all close by support. Next comes raising up talents, and there's a few ways to do it. One is advocating, keeping an eye out for business needs that may align with interests of members of our team who are taking good ownership of their current work and putting those names forward. In other words, risking on behalf of a quality person who we feel could help with the need and grow from that. And if that person is selected, we can then spend time behind the scenes coaching them, so we are raising up a talent who may at some point move on to higher things, and that's what we want. Another way of raising up talents is delegating ownership and empowering delegates. Delegating allows the team to do more as team members grow. It's an equipping and empowering action whereby we share ownership with someone who has shown capability or growth potential in an area of need and an ownership aptitude. By that I mean, I can trust that this person will take it seriously if I give them a task that I would otherwise have done. We make this person the public owner, they get credit for the accomplishments, and behind the scenes, we coach them, suggest training they might benefit from, or experienced persons they might spend time with, and we also stay close enough that we can handle the harder decisions when needed. This person is growing. There are going to be times when they need to bring bigger issues to us because they don't yet know how to handle them or don't have the authority to. Overall, the power of delegating is that it lets our people handle smaller issues and bring us in for the bigger ones and often learn how to handle those next time. We are raising up our team by raising the capability of the people we delegate to. That also helps their careers.
So delegating is no joke. It's time intensive at first, but over time, our team's capacity and capability goes up so we can handle more than we could before and do it better, and our positive influence goes up. In a later session, we'll talk about a concept called concentric circles of influence. Here's the gist. Let's say this is you and me. I'll put M for me. Now, I can't invest personally into 100 people, but I can invest into 10, and here's what happens. When I spend a lot of time investing personally into everybody in my close, immediate circle and empowering them and equipping them, they're going to take that to places I don't go. So that allows me to pass my positive influence through them. So it enables my team to have greater capacity and capability and enables me to have greater positive influence. Because like I just said, if I influence my team, my close peers, I'm not just influencing them, I'm influencing anyone they influence.
Finally, we have mentoring. Mentoring has a few purposes. Increase a person's capability through shared insight and experience, grow additional potential delegates so we can enlarge our team's overall capability, and help move others toward current job goals and/or long-term career goals. At a super high level, there are two kinds of mentoring. The first kind is a formal mentoring program. This is where people in certain roles sign up to be mentors, and someone who wants to be in that role someday signs up to be mentored. That's a really great thing for a company to offer. And by the way, HPE PointNext is offering this right now. The second type of mentoring is proximity mentoring. This is keeping a mindset of awareness regarding those who we interact with daily so we can notice where we might have insights to help them accomplish something they're trying to do a little better. And when we see that, being willing to initiate a dialogue and offer to share our insights in a professional relationship. It's just us being aware and also willing to offer ourselves to someone who's trying to build skill that we have. It's a lot like if we see someone standing in the rain, sharing our umbrella.
Hey, looks like you could use this.
Thank you.
Side-by-side investments do take time and purposefulness. Because we all get busy, this is an area that can be vulnerable. But when we do invest here, it's like watering trees. In the big picture, these side-by-side investments power our navigating and guiding investments. It brings a good return in the form of stronger trees that can drive toward the vision that we are navigating and guiding toward. In fact, at some point, they become champions of that, so that when we navigate and guide, we can go further. And also, it just really feels good to help elevate another person.
Let me drop a two-way challenge right here. Some of these side-by-side items are ones that should be done for everybody, breaking barriers, modeling standards, doing some coaching based on things that we're seeing our team members doing well or our peers doing well and things they could be doing better. All those things. Others, like delegating or offering a name up for an opportunity, can be more time intensive personally for the leader. So here's the two-way challenge. People leaders, look beyond the easy choice. That name that is the first one that always pops in our head because we won't even need to do anything for them. We know they've got this, they've got all the skill, they've done this 100 times. It's easy for us, we can name that person and move on. Move beyond just that person all the time and look at others on the team who've been working really hard, they're owning their current roles, and we know they've been building some skill toward this area. And that if we just spend some extra time with them behind the scenes with some mentoring sessions and some coaching sessions, they can grow into strong owners of this opportunity. So my challenge to you and me is look to them also. For those of us who want opportunities, here's the challenge. First, show yourself a good steward of the work you own now, so that your people leader or project or program leader says, yes, this person owns everything we give them. They take it just as seriously as I would if I were doing that. And the second part is show yourself a good potential steward of the opportunity you want by building some skill, doing anything you can to build skill and experience in that area, so that when an opportunity comes, your people leader will think of you and think, yes, okay, so this person maybe would not be completely able to handle this all on their own right now. But I've seen her and him work really hard. They're owning their current role and they're taking their future seriously. I see they're investing into some experiences to help them grow toward this area. So I'm going to name them. I'll take a risk on their behalf. I'll name them for this opportunity, or I'll delegate this to them, and I'll work with them behind the scenes as they grow into it. I had a martial arts teacher do that for me. When I first got my black belt, he asked me to lead the next class, and I said, I'm not ready for this. He said, I know, but you've shown yourself as a potential good steward for it. You will grow into this. I'll help you behind the scenes. Okay, that's the end of Session 1, Part A. Come back for Part B. We're going to give you the third leader action, and if you're like me, by that time you'll be thinking, how do I do all this? We're going to give you a tool that's going to help you not only do it, but do it great. So come back for that. Thank you to Rhonda, Julie, Taya, and everyone who helped with this first video. We'll all see you soon. Meanwhile, check this out.